I cannot hear you, Doug.
You guys are me.
Or har.
No one can hear you, man.
Doug, you need to call in first, you asshole. First of all, thank you for joining us on Vintage Burn. I'm Kev.
Marco.
and Doug.
And on this episode, my wife and I are actually really quarantined at home. So we were going to do something different this podcast. Typically, we do a horror review or we talk about rock and metal stuff. We had a movie already picked for this month, but with the quarantine, we thought we would do a horror movie revolving around quarantine. So we ended up picking 28 Days Later. We'll get into the movie review after we actually, hear from my wife, and she can kind of just talk to us about her firsthand experience in the last, 7 or 8 days.
Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, roughly.
So
yeah, it's had to have been like 12 days, right? Because it's a 14-day quarantine, correct?
Yeah, so I can kind of just go into my story. So I won't say where I work, but I will say I work in healthcare, and we live in a New England state. Obviously, the rate of expansion of the COVID-19 flu virus has keeps expanding exponentially in the states. So any statistics I have are probably outdated at this point, and any stats you quote are probably going to be outdated by tomorrow. So basically my story happened, I think, on 28th of February. I was notified a week later that I had sat next to a positive patient who was symptomatic at a conference. And it was the conference was about an hour, and my institution, and I think actually the whole incubation period is up for debate. Like, people say different things, but basically I was sitting next to the individual, and my institution's had basically qualified it as, I think it was within 6 feet for more than 30 minutes with a positive symptomatic case, which I definitely met that criteria, but I didn't find out till a week later. And how I found out was kind of interesting, because I had heard that a couple of my other colleagues were sent home probably a day or two before. And then I was pulled in the next day, because you could see me, I'm not even kidding you, on this video for like 8 seconds. You could see the back of my hair and you could see the back of my shirt. I didn't realize that, I knew I was in that conference, but I didn't realize I was sitting directly next to the person. So that was kind of like, oh, okay. So I wasn't symptomatic at that point. I actually had gotten my wisdom teeth out 3 days later, so I was more worried about that. I hadn't had any cold, flu symptoms, none of that, and neither did any of my team. My team that had got sent home were actually sitting in front of the person, so it was about like a 6 foot radius that they had sent home. I think there's like 4 or 5 of my coworkers that have been on quarantine. Some of them had an extra 2 days, but I had a total of, I don't know, probably like 8.
Oh yeah, from last Friday to this Friday.
Yeah, and then it was my institution has done a great job of, I'm not even kidding you. I got a call from one of the departments, and it was like a perfect script. I actually stopped her at the end of it. I'm like, you guys are doing a great job, because you have this down to a T. And basically, my protocol to go back to work is I have to go in for a screening clinic on Saturday, and then they kind of test for flu symptoms. And I'm thinking what happens, I don't know this for sure, but I'm thinking it's basically like they screen for your vitals to make sure you have no cold flu symptoms. And if you're clear, then I would expect you to go back to work at that point. The incubation period, which means the time you're exposed to the time you develop symptoms, they say it's 14 days. I've heard 4, I've heard 14. It just kind of varies. And I think with this virus, what's so scary about it is we're not armed for it, right? So there's no vaccination. Anything to do with a virus like a flu, there's no cure. So when people say there's a cure for this thing, there's not. It's a flu. So guess what? You get put on supportive measures. So it's not like we're going to come up with a cure for this thing. So that part of it needs to go. That whole stigma of it needs to go away. It's going to be more of a, think about like every institution like mine is in this way that you have to get a flu shot. So I think it's developing and it continues to develop, and it's hard to know what's going to happen with it. But that's just kind of my story. I'm thankful that I haven't developed symptoms, but there's media saying that everyone could get this at some point, but it is a flu, so it's hard to know.
And what's strange is, Lolo calls me Friday and she's like, "Don't freak out. I have to come home and be quarantined for exposure to COVID-19. I'm like, I kind of started laughing, right? Because I'm like, of course you did.
Yeah. And at this point, there was only 2 cases in our state. And now there's like 6 or 7.
And I think a week or 2 before that, she's like, "Oh, it's on a different floor and it's fine. And, it had nothing to do with me. And like, we're totally cool up here." And meanwhile, my wife doesn't realize she's in the video, like right next to the dude.
Apparently, you checked me out at the end of it too.
Yeah, they were all like, "Hey, yeah, not only is he a douchebag for coming back to work, while they told him apparently not to come to work when he came back from Italy, but he also checks her out at the end, so it's double whammy." But it was interesting because I'm not required to be home. I chose with my employer. I talked to my boss and I said, "Hey, look, I think for the benefit of the organization, this is what's going on with my wife." And that was funny because I'm like, "I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. But this is what's going on, guys." And they're like, "What? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is happening." So I just said to them, I'm like, "I think it'd be best if I stay home. The government's not requiring me to be home." They didn't say anything, right?
So I think the other thing is people are like freaking out by like, oh, like I'm exposed to the exposed, right? So like my mom, for example, she saw me. So I had the 28th. She saw me that weekend, and she's like, "Well, we saw you." Like, and people, I had met with people when I went back to work for like a day or 2. Thankfully, I was out more because of my wisdom teeth, but people are freaking out. Just like, "Wait, when did this happen? Because I saw you this day." I'm like, "Yeah, but I didn't have symptoms." But I think people are freaking out too. And there's also literature that's also suggesting that you can be contagious if you don't have symptoms, which I can understand. That's scary. But
yeah.
In the same vein, the other thing they need to realize is the 80% of this is not critical. The 80% of this is a flu. If you have no comorbidities, you don't have any other issues, then chances are you're probably okay.
Right.
However, we have different comorbidities in this state than they do in China, or in this country than they do in China.
Right. Like we have a severely obese population, which is high risk. Like super high risk.
Right.
And honestly, what I'm going to do is I'll end up, we're not a political podcast or anything, but what I'll do is I think just because of the sensitivity of this subject, and honestly, people don't really know what the hell is going on. Everyone's watching the news, getting it, and the news is making it worse purposely because they have to make it exciting. What I'll do is I'm going to drop, once I upload this podcast, I'm going to drop a couple links. I'm going to drop the CDC website link in there because they have all sorts of great information. I have to use it for my employer and all of my employees. And I've provided it to our staff, and it's just great information. I'm pretty sure at this point in your email, you're probably hit with every single newsletter that you subscribe to. There's a COVID-19 newsletter from a company telling you that they're going to sanitize daily and they're going to do everything they can. And here's links and here's this. So we're going to do this in the podcast for listeners. So I'll include the URL to the CDC for safety measures. And if you don't have information, I'm also going to include Joe Rogan's podcast link with Michael. I forget his last name. I don't know if it's Holstrom or something like that. But
that was a good one.
The guy, he's been in 6 administrations. He's basically a medical detective, and the CDC gets information from him. And he was the one that was like very honest about, vaccinations, and there's not going to be a vaccination anytime soon. You're looking at about a year and a half before we actually have something for this.
Right. And that being said, I used to work in infectious disease, so I do know a little bit about that. And I do know the state epidemiologists and folks that are kind of battling this every day. And this is their bread and butter. As much as it's a pandemic now and it's scary, and I don't want to downplay that, it's still a flu.
Yeah. And just again, we're not medical professionals, but I was one of 40,000 employers on a virtual call with Jay Butler, who is the director of the CDC for infectious disease. And he was very honest. He's like, yeah, this is 10 times worse than the flu. This is like a super flu. You can be hospitalized for it depending on the nature of your symptoms. Some people won't have as severe symptoms, but the reality is it's worse than the flu. You can recover and you can go about your daily life, and we need to do that. We just need to be aware of it, be cautious, but staying in, bolting your doors and windows and not coming out in public and spending your money.
Hoarding toilet paper.
Yeah, hoarding toilet paper, which doesn't make a fucking sense at all.
Yeah, why the toilet paper? Why the crapkins? Why the bottle towels?
I could understand like vitamin C or, like emergency airborne, all of this shit to boost up your immune system. But toilet paper?
Yeah, it's not like the Simpsons are you shit yourself to death. That's not a thing.
No, I don't understand it myself. I think that's the problem is we can see that, and it's perfect for our intro into 28 days later. Humanity can't even handle this virus. Right? Never mind. No wonder why we'll never know if there are aliens. We can't fucking handle a virus. People are out buying the wrong shit.
Yeah, we're as a civilization, we're kind of the preppers don't look so crazy now, do they? I think I found canned hummus at the perfect time.
Oh my God.
Of course.
Canned hummus, and I shit you not, I have a tin of stuffed olive leaves that looks like the bottom half of a 5-gallon pail. It's fantastic.
Wow. Oh, I thought you were going to say French fries, canned French fries or something.
No. I know I'm a potato vegan, but when push comes to shove, you got to make sure you can eat the shit cold or at least room temp. And fries, I could never eat room temp. Even like McDonald's fries, Burger King fries, you can't bring those back to life. When they're dead, they're dead. And I'm very passionate about this.
I see that.
One thing I think we all need to have is a box of Twinkies in the house. That's like the emergency. That's the emergency food.
Pretty much. There's not one natural ingredient in them. They're all chemicals. So
Kevin, Lolo, how's it been like just sitting at home? You guys gonna kill each other yet, or?
It's not that bad.
No, it's been fine. I've had this really big project that I could finish budgets by the end of the week, so I've been like knee deep in spreadsheets. I think I'm actually working more being at home, but it's been nice being a little bit for walks around our little circle and all that.
Infecting everyone we possibly can.
No, we're not.
No, I'm just kidding.
So since you guys have been together for an extended amount of time together, should we be expecting baby Kalo in 9 months or so?
That's so funny you say that, but no.
No.
You're in a house, you're running out of booze. It's like, what do we do? What do the Canadians do in a
We're gonna
blizzard?
His name can be Corona.
Yeah, Corona. Hey, you know what?
Corona
the cool thing is,
I'll film
upstairs. Lauren's been working upstairs. We got we finally got our 27-inch monitor up. So we have a desk and stuff. So honestly, when we podcast, we actually kind of, now that I have that set up for us, and we've got the noise filter, and we got like the hanging mic down and everything like that. We'll have like a 27-inch monitor to read off of and everything. So we're actually gonna have a cool little like studio room to work out of when we do our podcast now.
Awesome.
That's cool. I'll make sure I bring plenty of Lysol.
Yeah, bring the Lysol, man. You never know. We're supposed to go to a party Saturday, and we're not really sure what we want to do. I don't know. It's kind of tough because
I don't know. The way I figure it is, you gotta kind of still live a little, but you gotta still take care of yourself. And I think the best thing you can do is just wash your hands. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but you just gotta wash your hands and
General hygiene.
Yeah, general hygiene. So let's do the damn thing.
Don't
make out with randos, you know.
Dude, on Rogan, this guy was saying statistically, you know how everybody's into Doug, and you would know too, man, from all the whole food nuts. Everybody who takes daily probiotics for their good gut bacteria, they did a study for probiotic people versus people who don't take shit. Okay. And there's no difference in the people who have taken it versus people who haven't in studies showing who can fight off different sicknesses.
Right,
it doesn't do anything for you.
A virus strain is so unpredictable. Like kids don't even manifest symptoms with this one. So it's like, it's so unpredictable. It really is. So regardless of trying to prep yourself, like, you're going to get sick. It happens. Again, not downplaying this one because this one is bad.
For sure.
And people dying, so it's terrible.
So, Dr. Lolo, are you telling us not to pick our butts and touch our eyes? Is that basically...
Yeah, if you don't want pink eye.
Your mom told you that in 5th grade, Douglas.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess you're not listening.
No, she told me not to pick my button. She told me not to pick my butt and poke Marco's eye.
I don't want pink eye either.
So as our friend Jeremy Kling said, and I just realized he has not accepted my friend request on FB, so I'm low-key mad at him, but he posted something. I don't want to talk about it, okay? But it's upsetting. But he posted something about just, hey, I'm not doing many tours because of this. Like, hit me up if you need some like in studio shit. But at the bottom it said, stay safe out there, wash your hands like you're about to eat Cheetos, or like you just ate Cheetos and you're about to, and you're just Stay safe out there, wash your hands like you just ate Cheetos and you're about to knit with white yarn. I'm like, well, that's perfectly put, I thought, on his end.
Yeah, I know that was funny. I saw that.
That was funny. That's great.
I'm gonna tell him that he hasn't accepted your friend request.
Yeah, I went on there today.
I'm like, message, Doug?
No, I made him breakfast. I shouldn't have to.
Sometimes you just need to send him a reminder and just say, "Hey, I'm the one who interviewed you."
No,
yeah, he probably gets a million. He probably gets a million friend requests.
Have you seen my face? It's unforgettable, but not in a good way. And I made him breakfast with this face.
You're in purgatory. That's all. You're in purgatory.
I'm hurt. Okay, that's all. It's been like three months, whatever that is, like 12 weeks. I don't know.
Sometimes I'll have conversations with the bass player Jesse Jolie. We'll just kind of bullshit over stuff. It's kind of funny. They still, Doug. Yeah, you just gotta.
Because everyone remembers you square head.
It's my Lego head. You can get it.
Yeah, you know what? Marco?
Canada.
You're probably.
What are you guys doing with this virus?
Yeah, what's up with you guys?
What's going on down there?
Oh, well,
nothing. I just keep washing my hands, and I stockpiled my toilet paper, so we're good to go.
Oh, it's all out because of you, Marco.
Really?
Yeah, you've been buying it out from every location.
You bastard! Who would?
No, it's funny. We were joking around. Like, I actually stockpiled toilet paper before it was cool to stockpile toilet paper. So I get it on Amazon every 3 months, and like 20, 30, 40 rolls come up. So now I got like 50 rolls of toilet paper in the house. So I'm thinking about actually selling it on eBay for like $500.
Yeah, you could, man. It's ridiculous. People will buy it for. I really wish I kept all that free hand sanitizer I got from Connection before I fucking quit that job, because I was digging through my car and Lauren's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Where is that? Where's the hand sanitizer?" Because I wanted to sell it for like $5 a pop. It's like a.
Oh no, you can sell more than that.
It just fits in the palm of your hand. I had like 50 of them from CVS. I think I threw them out.
Yeah, like the travel size ones or whatnot.
Yeah.
I got a few of those hanging around.
It was out in Bed Bath. I was super sad.
I would have made a killing. The best part is I would have made Lauren hand it out, so it would have been ironic.
How about you, Doug? What are you doing to prevent the disease?
So like we just talked about, I just recently learned not to pick your butt, pick your eye, pick your friend's eyes. Obviously, wash your hands for 20
don't
seconds.
Don't breathe on people.
Yeah, don't. When you wash your hands, like fucking sing happy birthday to yourself for 20 seconds. Obviously, this is all shit that should be done anyway. Do you know how many dudes, you go into like a bathroom at the movie theater and the dude walks out from the urinal, walks right out the door, and he's thinking in his head, like, I know where my dick's been. I don't have to wash my hands. But then I'm like, And then I'm like, well, now I'm going to have to wash my hands twice because you didn't. And I got to touch to be safe, I've been opening doorknobs and shit with my mouth, just to keep it away from my hands.
There was a study that said that it can get through feces. So, I mean, that picking the butt thing is a big thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm maybe I'll have the breakthrough. Right. It's the poo. There's something in the poo. See what I did there?
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah.
Yeah, the crazy thing, though, is like all this stuff, man, like the NHL, the NBA, the Major League Baseball.
Right.
All
the marathon,
man. It's insane. All this big money. Oh, the marathon, too. All this big money business. All canceling games. And
yeah.
It's insane, the fallout that's happening. Like, I'm supposed to be going to New Jersey to go to an Overkill show on Saturday, and it's in doubt because they don't have a ban in New Jersey on people. You know how they started to do that? New York just implemented it a little while ago. No events of over 500 people.
I would not. If it's a standing room only show, I would not go if I were you.
I'm going. I'm going.
Like, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die happy.
That's right. Yep. I'm not gonna live scared, man. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, that's true. Especially for Bobby Blitz.
That's what you have to do. You can't. You just have to live your life like you normally would and expect the unexpected. It's just like that's unfortunately what we have to do here. It's severe, but it's not that severe. It's certainly not 28 days later severe either.
But it can get that way. I mean, look, the West Coast is getting it a lot worse, I think, than we are as far as right now goes. But it's forever changing. Every day it's something different.
Well, and with the West Coast, you have, I don't know how many thousands, if not maybe close to 1 million people in California alone that are homeless. So they're going to get it.
California, last I checked, was about 45 cases. It's probably over 50 now. And
that's still small.
Washington's upwards in the 70s, probably higher. I think Washington was the highest state.
Those
it
numbers,
is, yeah. And it also has the most deaths as far as, like I said, it's skewed because it changes constantly. But
yeah.
Right.
And then it ripped through a nursing home in Washington. That was the thing. There was like maybe 7 or 8 or 9, but they were all, in a nursing home, older, underlying health conditions. Like Kevin said, you just have to do your due diligence, try to do what you can to protect yourself, wash your hands, wipe shit down, and then just hopefully everybody kind of follows suit and it snowballs in a good way. And these numbers start coming down, That's all you can kind of hope for.
It just starts plateauing a little bit and the growth rate slows down.
I mean, this guy on Rogan did say that by summertime, where the United States should expect to have at least around 400,000 deaths.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. He said this is just the beginning. So when everybody like the NBA and everyone says we're just going to wait it out for another month or two. This is the problem that I'm having. My main employer, we're starting to prep and just think about these things because the reality is, it's not going to end. There's not going to be a cutoff by the end of April. Like, oh, the virus is done. We can move on. It's not going away. It's just going to become another virus that every year we're going to have to worry about. When we worry about influenza, it's just the same thing. And I think that's what people are not understanding. So when the NBA says we're going to try to just like feel it out, they might be feeling it out for the rest of the year. This guy is legit. And again, I'll drop the Joe Rogan link when we actually upload this. But this guy is serious. His credentials are very serious. And he's like, yeah, the United States will at least see close to 400,000 deaths, if not more, related to this. Of course, it's going to be a lot of elderly. But we also a lot of obese people are probably going to die from this too because it's going to affect their respiratory system, which is already shot, and it's not good. We have more complications in China apparently.
Fuck.
But China's more proximity.
Seasoning the obese.
Seasoning the obese for sure.
Yeah.
And they do say the numbers are obviously going to rise now that there's more testing out there, and it's like you said, it's going to get worse before it gets better, and hopefully the tipping point comes sooner than later. But they're like, come on, coronavirus, let's wrap this up. It's almost like summertime, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, some people are saying that it's like a stigma. Yeah.
Yeah, and for Lauren too. Did you call the state today, and the state sent you to voicemail, or?
No. So I was on a meeting, and obviously this is highly relevant to my line of work. They basically are. So we have testing kits are still very limited. Obviously, there's not a lot of them. So to get them, you have to go through the state, and you have to get approval to get them and test patients. So to do that, we had to go through this one line, and I was on a call today, and they were like, yeah, so please don't get mad at us as leadership if we're not getting back to you because we need somebody tested. It's not us. We've tried to call the state, and the state is not answering. We've left messages. So clearly they're not able to handle the volume, the influx of volume that's going to them. And I can imagine, like, it's coming through the community. So then you got small, primary care offices, you have small, even the public can call those lines. So people are, freaking out, even if it's still flu season. So we have a different, even a cough.
Oh, Doug, that cough doesn't sound good.
In all seriousness, so even
that's beer. That's beer in the wrong pipe.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, I mean, the reality is, look, it's like, you're required to. So as an employer, I'm required to tell my staff, hey, if you're having symptoms, obviously we want you out of work. But then you're directed to your state health officials. They will determine what the next steps are. You can also call your PCP. But either way, you're going to have to go through the state and work with your PCP most likely to figure out next steps. If you choose that you want to get tested, they'll probably put you on a list somewhere, which is where we are now. I'm assuming our address is somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm on a list somewhere.
We're on a list somewhere with Trump.
No, I bet I'm on 4 lists.
You're on the grid, Lolo.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like it. Kind of fun.
And apparently, I read that Trump was exposed too. He's hanging out with the Brazilian guy who has it.
He doesn't look good. The other night when he was talking, I think last night, he was very... Doug, was it you that was saying that?
Yeah, dude, he was winded. He could barely get a word out. It's almost like he wanted to go into a coughing fit, but he was trying everything in his power to hold back. He was winded. He was...
There it is, guys. We figured it out. This is why it was come up with, to get rid of Trump.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah. They were like, this is our way to get to Trump. Then we're going to have... It'll be like Trump dies, and we'll be left with fucking Crazy Joe who doesn't know where he is.
Now, can I go...
conspiracy.
Jeez. Now, I was thinking about this today. I know, this is more on the conspiracy theorist spectrum, but what if this was made? What if this was kind of put out there to kind of kill off the older population because we're fucked when it comes to Social Security and benefits and stuff like that? If we don't have to worry about it, we'll have time to catch up before all the people that survived.
I think if you're going to talk conspiracy theory, it's going to be China. This definitely came from China. Like I said, Mike on the Joe Rogan podcast was saying it's not real, that there's no conspiracy. China didn't make this as a biological weapon. This is something that just happened. He was talking about MERS, how MERS is very active right now in the Middle East. We don't pay fucking attention to that. And I guess MERS is like a camel type of flu that people get and are dying from rapidly in the Middle East. And it's been around. Now we have this. And he had mentioned one other type of current coronavirus that's pretty prevalent around the world that we just don't care about, right? Because it just doesn't affect us. So we're kind of like, whatever. I mean, think about it. 2 months ago, did you really give a shit about COVID-19 in China?
Oh, you knew it was coming. You're like, wow, that's really fucked up. I hope they get their shit together. And then now it's knocking on our city's doors, Well,
so the other thing to add to that is, what is China to us?
Yeah.
Our supply chain. So
that needs to change.
The fact that they supply most of our world's goods, and oh, by the way, they supply most of our medical supplies, we are kind of fucked because we're going to have medical supply shortages. We're already seeing it. There was a meeting today that I know of where they were talking about gown shortages early on. So it's coming. That's only going to get worse.
I do. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, we're headed for a recession. It's kind of inevitable.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, nobody's spending. I mean, everything's shutting down, so people aren't going to be spending money on anything.
Yeah,
so it's definite. It's coming, without a doubt. I mean, even today, my roommate went to go do Lyft. He sat here for an hour and a half, and I'm in a pretty busy area. Didn't get a ride. You know, typically he gets one within 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
Is it because
I think?
Is it because they knew it was him?
That's a possibility. Trust me.
Was it him?
Possibility.
You seen it in real life? You remember the waiter, Kevin? You were there too.
Oh yeah, that hated him. Yeah.
Yeah, because the waiter was a very nice. What's the non-derogatory term for ginger? Redheaded.
A redhead.
a redhead.
Too late. You already exposed yourself.
He was a redhead, and he was the only redhead in sight, and then all of a sudden another one showed up, and it was like all of a sudden it was like beef. You could feel the tension when he came by. He didn't want to give him a drink, it seemed. Like, I'm sure that wasn't the case whatsoever, but it was just very coincidental and hilarious.
No, it's
really
true. It's true, though. He did seem really cold towards him, which was funny as all hell. I couldn't get enough of it laughing about it.
He kept walking the other way. That's great. It's true.
When you meet two guys that have no souls, I mean, what are you going to do besides have tension, you know?
That's right.
Don't mind me. I'm going to the fridge for a second.
Are you grabbing another Corona?
Actually, they're cold snap. I'm hoping for an early spring, but
You're already contributing to the downfall of the economy. You're buying cheap beer instead of the good $16 to $20 4-packs.
Kevin, I bought this before. This is the one that I brought for the Vader show that you actually brought back here for the Opeth show that got canceled. I'm still milking it.
Yeah. Hey, by the way,
Michael knew that Corona was coming.
No, fuck that. Hey, Doug, kiss those tickets goodbye. You think he's gonna fucking come back here in the next, 6 months?
No, nope. And then I know Pestilence just dropped off the Pestilence Possess show.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fucking bummer. Yeah, hopefully they're just like, hey, hang on to your tickets. When shit settles down eventually, maybe we'll come back. Hopefully it's sooner than later, but...
Oh, wait, are we not going to do that show now?
I'm still going. I mean, I like Possess, so I'll still be there.
Who dropped off?
Pestilence.
No!
I know, that was the main reason I was going too, so...
Yeah.
It's a shame. A lot of stuff's getting ruined. That Rotting Christ show is going away, and every show, pretty much, every tour that's coming from overseas is done.
I love it. All these bands are like, we're gonna sing about infectious diseases and your face melting, but we can't play the tour due to an infectious disease.
Hey, a lot of it's not them. A lot of them are like, we really wanted to play. Like, who gives a fuck? But when the governing entities, step in and say, it's hard enough for a lot of these bands to get visas as it is, to come in and play, never mind during these dire times.
It's worth it right now. We need to be isolated to be able to control, everything internally, because it's just going to get worse if people keep going back and forth and bringing it to and from. That's what happened to us here. We had someone who brought it here who was told, hey, look, you just came from an infected country. You need to go home for 14 days. And he was like, yeah, fuck you. I'm going back to work. And then here we are,
Right,
yeah.
Right. I mean, I understand the whole, having to stay home. That's what it was, I want to go to this one show, and then after that, I don't care. Honestly, if everything gets canceled and they reschedule it, that's it. I'll be fine with it. But I had this one in the works for a while, man. I'm hoping it still happens.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of stuff. We're supposed to be going to Italy in September.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I mean, that's the thing. You can't test it. We just don't know. And right now I know I knew this was coming with the airline business. Just through work, we were seeing a decrease in airlines, and this one of my contacts was like, I'm getting crushed. My business is getting crushed, and this was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I knew it was only a matter of time. And then once you started to see all the shortages with toilet paper and everything ridiculous like that, there's just like, yep, people are going to be staying in, not spending money. The economy is going to be affected by it. And it's just becoming a downward spiral. I don't know what the major cities look like. I know Philadelphia is a ghost town right now. I don't know what Manchester looks like. God, I can only imagine it's probably the same. I feel like people... going out around here.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, well, what I was going to say is, like, even around here, like, I went out during rush hour, and there was like a slight amount of traffic, but it was like very much lower than usual. The only thing that was filled was the supermarkets, and the toilet paper aisles were empty. I took pictures of that stuff, and no water, but food, plenty of food. You want food? Plenty of it. It's just toilet paper, water, and sanitary products. That's it. That's what's gone. It's just crazy to me because I walked around just looking at all these people filled, carts filled with garbage, toilet paper. It's crazy.
I'm not trying to brag, but like 2 weeks ago, I took the day off from work and I went to Walgreens. Market Basket. There was no one there. Went to Walmart. There was no one there. Huge hand sanitizers. The pump were still two for $3. I'm like, sure. Buying all the wipes and shit. And I had some lady come up to me, and she looked at the cart, and she looked at me, and she was like, oh, did you find the gloves too? Kind of like sarcastically. And I said, yeah. And I pulled them out on the side of the water bottles, and she's like, oh. I'm like, carry on.
I got plenty of those. That's the one thing I do have is plenty of gloves for my posters. So I think I'm good. I've got surgical gloves. I've got non-latex, non-powder gloves.
Come on, folks. You're going to get those masks. Those aren't going to work.
Yeah, the masks are not going to work.
You need N95 or better.
You basically need the mask that we see in 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
That's it. So speaking of, I think the perfect segue into the movie that we wanted to cover, which is 28 Days Later. We picked this one. One, it's a horror movie. We could have picked Contagion or Outbreak, but those are not really, really horror. They're more thriller. So we wanted to stick with what we do. This is somewhat different, but it's still a droplet, airborne, or bite, saliva type virus, which is
bloodborne. Yeah,
similar, right? So it's still similar,
mm-hmm.
Especially with one scene in the movie. It's pretty similar. So I guess we can just kind of go through the movie. Why don't one of you guys like just read the synopsis on it?
I don't have a synopsis. Do you have one, Doug?
Nope.
Yeah, usually Kevin does the synopsis.
All right, I'll pull it up. I'll do the synopsis on this one.
To be honest, it does have a very
synopsis.
Yeah, but usually I have it for him. Usually I hand it to him and highlight it.
I see.
Do you have a notebook there?
Where's your notebook? All right, this is an easy one. 28 days later, 4 weeks after a mysterious, incurable virus spread throughout the UK, a handful of survivors try to find sanctuary where there's plenty of toilet paper and hand sanitizer available.
And guns.
Yeah, and guns. You have to have guns. This is somebody taking a piss right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hear it.
My God.
You know who it is.
No.
Marco, is that you?
No, it's not me. Get out of here.
Must be Lolo. It's Lolo standing up.
Wow.
I made sure to prep myself before this.
Pop class.
You at least muted yourself, brother.
Director.
I know.
Daniel Will. Writer Alex Garland. Starring Cillian Murphy. If anybody knows Cillian Murphy, he's from I just drew a blank on it.
Inception. Yep, Peaky Blinders. He was Scarecrow in Dark Knight. He was in Inception, and he's in the new Quiet Place.
Yeah,
and a ton of shit more.
And Doug has a crush on him.
He was great. He was great as Scarecrow in Batman Begins. Right?
Begins, yeah.
Naomi Harris, Christopher Eccleston, and I don't know, fucking other people. But I mean, this was a pretty good start for Cillian Murphy, I think.
10 wins, 31 nominations.
So I mean, yeah, it was. I think the major standout point of this movie was the camera shots. I think this movie kind of like started some of those angles on some of the shots in the flick, which is cool. Other than that, I think the video quality was very British. I don't know how else to explain it other than kind of shitty.
It's artsy, Kevin.
Shitty, yeah.
It's artsy. That was the one thing I liked about it.
Yeah. And it was also like made in 2003 too, so it's like the cameras, or 2001 probably filmed, so the cameras weren't all shot for HD or anything like that.
I know. I've seen better 80s films. I don't know why. It's good.
I think that's what they were going for. It's kind of like you said, British but very artsy. I actually really like the film. That's one of the things. if you think about the movie as a whole, the story's kind of lacking a bit. There's good amount of dong in it, but overall it's great filming, very artsy and not overdone. It's not. They didn't spend a gazillion dollars on crash and burn scenes, and they had the very surreal like opening scene where he's walking around. But besides that, you could tell it was kind of, I would say, low budget, very low budget for its day.
All right, well, who's kicking it off?
Well, I could tell you all about it. I'll do what Doug normally does. IMDb gave it a 7.6 out of 10. Did pretty well there. Budget of $8 million. Made $86 million worldwide, $45 million US. So the budget was pretty low, especially for 2001 standards.
He crushed it, though. Jesus.
Yeah, it did good. I mean, they made 10 times the amount pretty much. So anyway, it starts out with, footage of riots on, you don't realize it's like TV screens at first. But yeah, there's people rioting, people going nuts, like people hung, getting beaten. And then it kind of pans out and you see like a primate, a chimp, tied down to like a table. And, they're making him watch it like Clockwork Orange style. Like just, making him, put it in his brain or whatever. But anyway, so 3 people break into this lab to free the chimps. And a dude walks in and tells them he knows why they're there and not to free them because they were given inhibitors. And the dude asks, what were they given? And he simply says, rage. So obviously whatever they're giving them is making them angry. So that's why I didn't understand why they got to watch the riot footage anyway, because it just makes people angry automatically. So you know what I mean?
Point.
Isn't that true or no?
Yeah, good point.
So the chick of the group that's stealing decides to open a cage, and she does. The monkey just runs. It's like this long cage, probably like 10 feet long, and the monkey just runs, jumps on top of her and just starts biting her. She comes up like instantaneously, within 5 seconds later, throwing up blood. She pukes it on the other guy, and then you just hear, "Oh, we have to kill her," and that's it. It cuts. It cuts to, it says the screen goes black, and it says 28 days later. And then all of a sudden, the dude wakes up in a hospital, kind of like Walking Dead style. That's all I can think of as Walking Dead, but there's a little dong in it.
100%. Yeah.
Dude hangs dong.
Hangs dong. He walks around screaming. Then he gets up. He finds like vending machines. He gets like candy, and which is like a thing in the movie that they all eat sugar and drink sugar. And he finds the candy vending machines all broken into. He takes a bunch of stuff, puts it in a plastic bag, and then he ends up walking around and gets a great tour of London. You see Big Ben, you see Parliament, you see all this stuff, nobody around, just screaming, hello, hello, hello. And where am I? God damn it. This is hard. He finds some money, takes it like it does nothing. And then he finds a newspaper that read evacuation. So now he's starting to like put things together. Then he finds like a dedication wall to the dead with a bloody handprint on it. He goes and looks at it, whatever. And then he walks into a church. And on the wall, it says, repent. The end is extremely niche on it. I think that's what it says. N-I-C-H.
Yeah, it does.
Niche? Yeah. I thought it had a K in it personally. Then he walks up these steps, so he overlooks the church. He makes noise, and then all of a sudden, 2 bodies. Well, he sees a pile of bodies, I should say first, overhead where the pews and stuff. And then 2 of the bodies get up and look at him like the wow emoji. They have their face with the mouth all wide open. You know what I'm talking about? It reminded me of the wow emoji for some weird reason.
No, perfect way to describe it. You're painting the picture for us, Marco.
Yeah, and then they, they get up. He starts walking, and then a door opens, and a priest comes out, making all these gurgling noises, and tries to attack him. He just runs away. Then some masked people come out, throwing Molotov cocktails and screaming, over here, over here. They direct the infected towards a gas station and blow it up. So basically the 3 people that were chasing him actually turned into like 6 people, didn't it? They were chasing him out of the church. They ended up blowing him up.
Yeah, there was a whole, one called to the rest, and they all just came out like a shitstorm.
Yeah, and I love
man. So like,
it was like, hey, let's make sure we sit back and watch this explosion that we paid millions of dollars for. We only get one shot at it, so make sure we don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, and then it's just quick moving. That's what I like about it. I mean, it's like things just go. They end up running into a Subway, and there's a little market in there. They just go in there, lock themselves in. They unmask and ask about him. They find out his name. The guy that woke up, his name is Jim. The people that rescued him are Mark and Selena. And then they explain to him that it started as rioting. Selena explains it was a virus, an infection. It was in the blood. It was something in the blood. That's her direct quote. It was in the blood. It was something in the blood.
That was my poof reference from earlier.
And they go on to explain the poop. That's possible, yeah. Okay. They explained that the infection spread fast. Everything was overrun before TV. And then they were talking about the TV broadcast. They said it spread to like Paris, NYC, whatever. And also they say that he's the first person they've seen in 6 days. And then he wants to know if his parents are still alive, so that's where they make their way to. They reluctantly make their way there. He finds his parents dead of an apparent suicide. He takes a picture out of the hand, and it's a picture of him, and it basically says on the back, written to him, "We're now sleeping with you," because they still, obviously think he's in the coma and dead or whatnot, or about to die. Don't wake up. And then Mark goes on to tell a story of how he should be grateful they died so peacefully, because he was talking about when he went with his sister and they went to Paddington Station. There was 20,000 people with the same idea. They started, and then some people got infected, and it was spreading quickly. And he basically had to climb all the bodies to get onto like a counter and escape, which seems like it would be crazy. I wish they put that in the movie.
Yeah,
like a little like a cut scene that kind of just had this. That's the thing with this. They kind of like paint the picture for you, so they feel like they don't have to, or maybe that's why they were able to keep it so low budget. That would have been a good visual for sure.
Yeah. I would say it's more budgetary issues. I mean, it's like some of the stuff that they paint, you would love to see. Like that's one, and there's a few others throughout the movie that I would just love to see them. Wish if they put on camera. I mean, I guess that's what 28 Weeks Later was. That was a more high budget version, but also didn't have the same flair as this one did. So anyway, they sleep at Jim's house. Jim can't sleep. He's looking at his mom's stuff and pictures, watching videos. Then two angry motherfuckers come crashing through windows on top of Jim.
But do you know?
And Celine and Mark. Let's not go ahead.
Do you know why they crashed in on him?
Because he was probably making noise.
A candle, Kevin. A candle.
Oh, it was a candle?
Is that the cause?
That's the cause.
Yeah, that's right, because he lit the candle. Yeah. I actually didn't notice that part, so that's good eye.
I noticed that this disease was originally carried by chimpanzees, and you can see that when people are infected, they take on the form of a chimp.
Right,
very
even with the arm movements and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I saw that too, but did it come from a chimp, or did they just like make it and like
made it?
Test it on chimps?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's it. I think it was biologically manufactured, which is, I mean, again, we don't know, but kind of relative to this, people are still trying to figure out if China actually made this in a lab.
Right.
The Umbrella Corp.
And that's the thing.
Well, dude, I mean, think of it. The scientist who was the whistleblower in December in China, he's dead. He supposedly died from it first.
Yeah, and going back to the umbrella thing that you were talking about, I just actually saw like some meme that in what do you call it, Resident Evil, they call it Raccoon City.
Raccoon
and you
City,
know what word you can make out of raccoon?
Oh, Corona?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Fill
wow.
it out, baby.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah, that's a little nuts.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned umbrella. That's what reminded me of that.
Yeah, I know there's a few creepy similarities between the two. Who knows? The worst part is when all's said and done, eventually we'll never get a fucking answer either,
We don't know.
Yeah. So
sorry, Mark Coco.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't care. This is all my second time doing it. I got to get used to getting cut off when I do the lead. I'm only doing the lead for half the movie. Me and Doug cut it up. But so
the second half is called 28 pages later.
Yeah, the second part definitely has a lot more than the first part, so I got the easy one.
Yeah,
but anyway,
I kept the second half super quick, but sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The two angry mofos come crashing. That's where I was, right? Yeah, the windows. Jim screams. Then Celine and Mark come in and cut them bitches up. Mark was bit. She asks if he's okay. She notices that Mark has whatever. So instantaneously, I love Selena because of this. She goes over and she just freaking kills him. Like bashes him with a machete. And she tells the guy, because Jim's all fucked up about it. And she's like, if you bit, you bit. You're going to kill me. I'm not going to die. And same thing happens when he falls behind in the next scene. So, where am I?
He's the weakest.
Yeah, that's what...
Too legit to bit?
Said he's the weakest link.
He is, yeah, definitely. And he woke up from like at least a 28-day coma. So
he should be rested as shit.
Well, I mean, he had no food. All he was eating was sugar and all that stuff. I'll get to that in a second. But she explains to him that the infected, it only takes 10 to 20 seconds to kick in. So that's why she had to kill him instantaneously. So they end up continuing to... Yeah. They continue to walk. They find an apartment building. They enter it. There's a bunch of shopping carriages. Anyway, they climb over it. They get to a staircase. And they start walking, and he's starting to crash because of the sugar, which I was just talking about. And he's like, I don't know why I can't keep up. She's like, well, you've been awake for like 2 days or whatever, and all you've had is sugar. So you're crashing. So she's like, I got pills and more sugar. So let's get you going. And while they're talking, she hears the infected coming. And they're coming, like, that's what I like about this movie, man. They come like madmen. These freaking things are just like running, and then when they climb on the carriages, they're just like they just scale it like there's no issues. You know what I'm talking about? You notice that?
It's like that scene in World War Z, where the zombies like run real fast and they climb. They can climb like on top of each other and create like walls and shit.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't do that quite, but yeah, it's something similar.
No, but before this, I remember seeing this in the theater way back. What was it? 2002 when it came out. And I remember thinking, like, wow, this is kind of a whole other spin on, I don't want to say a zombie film, but normally when you see the infected or there's things after us, they're very slow-moving, lethargic. But this was kind of creepy because, like, fuck, what if a zombie did have, like, marathon runner speed? That'd be fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it would be terrifying.
Yeah, and shopping carts, those are just, shopping carts are just scary as it is,
Yeah, and they got them with no problems. Anyway... They chase them up. Jim's crying like a bitch. Wait for me, please. Wait for me, please.
I have a headache.
And then they get up to the top, and there's like dude just in riot gear at the top of the stairs. Lets them through and directs them to go to room 157. Dude fucks up the infected, though. He holds them off with this shield and just kicks the shit out of them, throws them down the stairs.
Yeah, that was
And then
good.
that's when you meet Frank and his daughter, Hannah. Frank is probably my favorite character in the movie.
Even though he doesn't hang dong, right? He still...
No, he doesn't hang dong, but I didn't want to really see his dong, so it's okay.
Lauren said
we'll be okay with that.
Lauren was less than impressed. Like, the minute it cut to it, she had all sorts of comments, and I was like, whoa. Maybe he's a grower, not a shower.
That's a possibility.
What's this, in the very beginning scene?
Let's be honest, how many times do you see a dick on TV anymore?
Well, anymore, right? To begin with.
Well, you know what? You see boobs and everything else enough.
Yeah, but those are pretty. These are. It looks like a shriveled up acorn.
I don't give a shit. It's still a double standard.
Women. The female form art. The male form is just a reproductive organ.
Well, to David.
Like Louis C.K. says, he's like, vaginas are like little flowers. Like they're so pretty. They should have little butterflies floating around. They don't even have a name. They're just like. La 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 la. And he's just talking about dicks. How, yeah, Kevin's right. They're just like this. Ew, Hey, Lolo, can I suggest Wolf Cop if you're into big veiny dongs? 1 and 2, mostly 2. That's where they really excel.
Interject the Wolf Cop reference in here. It's like
one podcast can't go by without a Wolf Cop drop.
I'll just wait for the other two.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate Wolf Cop.
No, I didn't.
Did you see them both?
I didn't hate it either, man. I just think it's like cheese, but it's fun cheese. I could,
It is.
and that's all. They're not very well made movies, but they're fun for what they are. And I know Doug gets offended by that, but
no, I love horror and I love comedy. Those are my two favorite genres. And when you mix the two, even though, of course, there's very few horror comedies that aren't super, super cheesy. There's like Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. I would say it's a comedy, but it's not super cheesy. Whereas like Deathgasm, obviously cheese.
Yeah,
Wolf Cop.
Well, Doug, just remember, you have May's pick, so you pick what you want, buddy. Anyway, so
you're gonna regret that.
So Frank is obviously very happy to see people. He obviously hasn't seen people. Awesome drink. You can see the happiness in his face. I feel so happy for the guy. Anyway, Jim shaves and no longer looks like a character from the Planet of the Apes. Because that's all I could think of. He was an ape the whole time.
Dr. Zayas.
And then they go up to the roof.
Dr. Zayas.
They see the rain traps or whatever, and the guy says no rain for 10 days. Frank tells Jim they won't be able to stay here. They'll just die here. So he actually brings up a broadcast that's on a loop, directing them to salvation. But the coordinates are a 2 or 3 day journey. So that's where the journey begins. They're arguing about, hey, they could die on the way. And Hannah tells them we're going to die here. So what's the difference? So it convinces everybody to go. So they get in the old taxi. The chaps get in a taxi. And in the most ridiculous scene in the movie, they come up on a tunnel. And it's blocked up by like all these cars. So what does he decide to do instead of backing up and going around the long way? He runs into like a big metal wall. Somehow it falls, and he's driving on top of other cars.
Like Demolition Derby style.
Right, but like on top. And they're not bouncing around. Like, your car would never make it more than 5 feet into that.
No, and it looks like fucking Herbie the Love Bug.
Yeah, yeah, it's a British cab. That's what it is. They're like the longer in the back. They have like the extra room. It's a taxi because it has the meter. You can see that too. So yeah, it's fucking crazy. So they end up getting a flat tire. What's all this noise? Did somebody pull out a microphone or something?
No, it's Doug. He's probably playing with himself.
What the hell's going on?
I'm not moving at all. I am so still.
Well, it was you because now the noise ain't happening. But all right. Anyway,
I always get blamed for it. Whatever. I'm not wearing pants and I'm. Fuck off.
I've actually been very still this whole time. I've been in the same chair the whole time. It's amazing. Usually I move a lot too, but it's okay. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, fit.
So after all that, they end up getting a flat. So they go to fix the flat. And Hannah is actually, the young daughter is actually the one under the car trying to fix it. And all of a sudden, these rats just start running, and they run right by her. She's on the ground, and they're in her hair, they're whatever. And I think it's Selena says it's the rats are running away from the dead. Or the infected. The infected are coming. So that's where you see their shadows coming. And then in just the nick of time, they get the tire on, and they get away. Like, just in the nick of time, they get to the car. You know how it always goes.
Yeah, they got to build that suspense somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, like, the only part about the scene I hated was driving on top of the cars. I thought it was just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I didn't like that part at all.
Yeah, because they would have gotten stuck in the first car they even looked at, never mind rode over a pile of them like a fucking monster truck.
That's what I was just about to say. It's impossible unless you fucking own Bigfoot or a Gravedigger. It's fucking, it's impossible. So it would never happen. Anything to add, Kevin?
No.
Just saying if you're paying attention. I love doing that to you sometimes. But what do you call it? Then they continue on. They find a supermarket, and unbelievably untouched. There was like nobody that was in there. I know they're in a smaller village, but you'd think there would be people that would actually go in there and get stuff. So they end up shopping.
Yeah, we didn't check the toilet paper aisle.
Yeah, you know what? It didn't show the toilet paper aisle, but I'm sure they stocked up. All I know is they didn't want more chocolate because that's all they've been eating, basically. So yeah, they end up finding an abandoned truck. They get some extra gas for the car. Jim enters a building, finds a dead girl and holding a doll, a few others. And then all of a sudden, like a fucking, I would say a 10 to 12-year-old infected boy comes out and attacks him. Then it kind of cuts and Jim walks out. You hear like a thump, and Jim walks out of the building like wiping his bat off. So he obviously killed a 10 to 12-year-old boy. Then They continue driving, have picnics, see horses. They think it's lovely. Selena is falling for Jim. Now you can see Selena starting to fall for Jim. She's trying to change her perception. She tells him, before she was relentless and she's like, fuck everybody. But now she sees the love with Hannah and Frank, and she's starting to rethink her position on life, which I think is pretty cool.
Doug, this isn't Selena Gomez.
I know. I kept thinking that, though. I'm
By
like,
the way,
whatever. Why is this bitch still...
Not speaking of viruses and everybody's dead and our current state of the United States, but just a news flash. It's a good thing that the only band that hasn't canceled their tour in New Hampshire is Head PE. They're still playing on the 15th in Manchester. If you all want to go see Head PE,
nice.
Yes.
Hey, I just want to give a shout out real quick to Kevin Varela. Big Kev has joined us on the podcast. I like it.
I heard he's got the corona.
He might. He always looks like he has the corona. Me and him are supposed to be going to New Jersey together, so let's see what happens there.
He's had the corona. He might be patient zero. He could be the carrier.
Are you patient zero, Kevin? We can bring him on if you want to. But anyway, they end up going to sleep, popping Valiums. Jim has nightmares that they leave him behind, and then he wakes up to a honking, and this is where Doug takes over because I don't know anymore.
What the fuck is it?
What happened?
So
said Head PE. Why, of all bands that won't cancel a show, why is it fucking new metal?
You know why? Because they can't fill up more than 250 people, so it's not going to get canceled. That's what it is. Maybe back in 2000 or whatever when they were big, but not now.
Oh, that was perfect. All right, so after intermission, we have part 2 of 28 Days Later. And I'm going to try to keep it, like I said, less than 28 pages later. It's like 4 pages. I'm going to kind of just hit the bullets, and we're going to make this quick. So they leave the ruins where they spent the night. They still have hope on the raid. Yes.
Not to cut you off. No, I'm just kidding.
You just did that on purpose, didn't you?
Yep.
Jerk.
Bye, Felicia.
I hope you're not getting a hand job right now. I hope she's on the other side of the room just giving you dirty looks. I hope you're not getting it over the panties. I'd be upset.
I have a feeling.
No,
I have a feeling are you in different rooms?
No, she's just sitting at the opposite end of the couch with Popeye. She's got one hand on the pup and the other hand on her iPhone. So she's skiing right now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, so she looks like you. She looks like you normally do when we're podcasting.
Yeah.
Hi-oh.
Okay,
all right.
Okay.
All right, so they leave the ruins where they spent the night. Like Marco said, he's having like some kind of crazy Valium dream. He wakes up with the car honking, he hops in, they go. So they still have hope that the radio broadcast for, quote, salvation, is still a real thing, so they're going to head that way, due north. Now, besides the church in the beginning, like, there are no bodies besides any infected, besides the parents. Like, that was one thing I thought was a little bit weird. I figured there would have been some kind of military response and there would have been piles of bodies around before everyone kind of... I just thought that was a little bit weird, but maybe that was just kind of on the artsy, low-budget end.
Yeah, and also, like, how empty the roads were. You would think, like, with all those people running around, it would create havoc and car accidents and all types of shit.
Yeah,
like the highway's
least...
perfectly clear. Like, if you watch any other zombie movie, Zombieland, whatever, even Walking Dead, you see piles of fucking cars everywhere.
Yeah, that's more realistic to me than just wide open roads, like everyone got away and, so I liked it. It was very, like, dramatic, but I'm, like, unrealistic in the same breath, and I'm fucking deep.
Mm-hmm. You're a deep person,
so they make it to the second blockade in Manchester, England, where this salvation was supposed to be. So they show up, and it looks like a deserted camp with a bunch of cars, and they're like, is this it? Is everyone gone? Is it deserted, or is it? So the dad's pissed off. He kind of walks away. Here's a crow start kind of crowing. Thinks he's laughing at him. So he kind of kicks him, shoos him away, and somehow a drop of blood from the crow gets him right in the eyeball, and within, seconds, he's got the rage. So he goes all rage, and it's like, fuck, now animals carry this shit? Like, that's even, like, another level of just creepiness, if you were in their situation. So then all of a sudden, some sniper dude in a ghillie suit takes the dad out, which I was kind of bummed. I'm like, dude, this is, like Marco said, probably the best character in the movie.
Yeah.
He's just lovable. He's just a loving guy, and you know, I don't say it was intense. Is when Herschel in The Walking Dead got killed. That's when I stopped watching the show. I'm like, how could you kill my grandfather? Like, I love Herschel.
Yeah, that was a tough death on The Walking Dead. But wasn't the crow picking at a dead body? Could have the blood been from a dead body, or was that after?
Yeah.
Oh, very, very possible.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was from a dead body.
Yeah,
it was. Okay, all right, that makes more sense. Maybe I don't know how I missed that, but then again,
hey, it's relative to what we have now, right? So what we currently have is a droplet virus, and I mean it's possible if I'm talking to you within 6 feet and I spit on you, and it happens to land in your mouth or on you, and then you touch your face or you know whatever, you like bite your fingernails or something, you're automatically infected. So I think the difference with reality is it takes a lot longer for it to get in your system. This current virus, you may show signs, you may not. Typically, if you're going to get sick, it's within 5 days, and you start to show actual signs. Whereas this virus, it's like instantaneous and a bit ridiculous. It's like the minute it gets in his eyes, he starts like, freaking out, like, get away from me. And he starts acting out, becomes primal, turns into a chimpanzee.
But isn't that scarier, though, how fast they turn and how, you know what I mean? So I think that they were kind of trying to definitely play on that. Not trying to pull the V card here either, but like all these like H1N1, swine flu, MARS, SARS, like all of them come from some type of animal exposure, usually through eating like shit meat or I was reading this thing earlier and I'm like, dude, it's obviously I'm not the preachy vegan type, but I just thought that was a very interesting fact. That's like mad cow disease, cows, and swine flu, obviously pigs.
This just sounds like vegan propaganda.
Vegan fake news. Vegan fake news.
I have my pedestal and I'm gonna use it.
No, I mean you're not wrong. Liz is somewhere right now flipping a table.
Probably, absolutely.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. I mean, but it's true. Like you can tell the difference between reality versus the fantasy of a virus. There's no way that you'd get a droplet in your eye in that fast turn. It would need to get into your system. It would need to work its way through. It's too fast. Now, maybe if he stood there with a tampon and then shoved it up his asshole, that's different. That's a quick way.
Oh, that's how you get drunk quick. So it makes sense. Goes right into you.
Right in the bloodstream. Yeah. Oh, you didn't watch the cut scenes, did you? Because that's actually exactly what happens.
No.
Right up he keysters it, bam, rage.
Mm-hmm.
Done. All right, so we digress as normal, per usual. So let's continue on here.
All right.
Per usual, yeah.
Doug has just transformed into a 13-year-old girl. But go ahead.
I'm gonna smoke a doink, a quick doink sesh.
Yeah, doink sesh.
A doink sesh.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, obviously these are kind of dark times, and we're trying to find the, have a little bit of comic relief, But anyway, so he takes them into their base. The dude in the ghillie suit, he's kind of like the commander of this little utopia that they think they're going into. Takes them in for a shower. Jim's naked again. Cool. How was that shower scene, Lolo? Was that okay?
Yes, clean.
Good. Clean
there
in.
was no dog in that one, though. It just showed his buttocks, right? Am I wrong?
Yep, buttocks and chest and back muscles. I think the dong was only in the beginning, which I was a little sad about. It should have been predominant throughout the whole movie, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. Like Lola said, it's not a whole lot of dong in movies nowadays, so you're gonna take what you get. So, the army guy shows Jim the ropes, gives him the tour of the compound. He brings him out to meet Mela, I think is how it's pronounced. He's the chained up cohort who turned a few days ago, very Day of the Dead. They got him chained up and they're talking to him. He'll react for a second, then go back to being, a rager, we'll call him. So they're keeping him as an experiment, especially to see how long it takes for the infected to starve to death. So he's basically, and now he's just some sick science experiment. So they all sit down to that awkward dinner. You have the one dissident, I'm going to call him the dissident sergeant, who is just talking about conspiracy theories, and this is fucked up, and, you know, this seems like it's fucked up times, but it's actually normal times, like humans the virus, and you're like, this guy's maybe a crackpot, but maybe he's telling, you know, maybe he's the guy that's telling the damn truth. So all of a sudden during dinner, the tripwires and alarms go off. They go outside. The guys shoot and blow up a bunch of I keep calling them zombies. Ragers.
For the infected.
Is that politically correct?
Or the infected.
I gotta stop you as usual. I found a funny. There's a funny meme out right now. It's a T1000 or a T2000, and it says people with unwiped butts, and it's a picture of the Terminator, and then it's somebody crying under a desk. People who bought all the toilet paper.
Oh my!
This is getting ridiculous. This is getting serious.
Yeah, there's also
there was one.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, there was another one I saw, and you know the commando with like the rocket gun with the 4 cylinders. Yeah, there was all toilet paper, and it said "Get to the shitter," which is pretty good too. Not as good as yours, but it was still pretty good.
The one I saw that cracked me up. It was what my sister posted. It was like, you know in Terminator when he's like, I'm living tissue over a cyber whatever he says, and he like cuts his arm off and pulls it. It's like his arm, just like the metal arm. It's a picture of Arnold's arm like bare like that, and it's like how I feel after like sanitizing my hands with like the 700th time like today, and it's just like a bare bone hand.
It's true. It's all chapped. It's like good chapped hands.
Yeah, they say like, you know, even me, I'm like, every time I walk by one, I'll like take a squirt and rub it on my hands, and it's actually not even that. It's good like initially, but I think it's kind of bad for if you overuse it, because then you're killing the good bacteria, you know, that's on your hands too. So it's almost like you need to find that good medium. Not too much, not too little. You know, don't pick your butt and pick your eye. You know, that's the moral. So, so after this so the funny thing to me is they're out there like literally blowing up these ragers. There's blood flying at them. It just seems like super easy for one of them to get like a piece in their mouth or their eye or a cut or a pee hole. But anyway, that's just me overthinking it. But so right after this, all the guys kind of surround Selena and they start to get a bit handsy. The sergeant dude kind of breaks it up, and then he kind of pulls Jim aside in another room and he tells him, I promised the men, women, you know, these guys. He said that one of his cohorts, he found him with a gun in his mouth. He was going to kill himself. He's like, there's no future. What's the point? It's just a bunch of dudes. We can't reproduce. Like, what are we going to do? Just live in like a little dude colony, basically? Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but so that they feel that they have no future without women, and that Jim's free to go, but the women are basically forced to stay, which is kind of fucked up. So one quick thing, I did enjoy the music, except for like the rolling credits. I did enjoy like the really kind of heavy industrial music they had kind of playing during some of the more intense scenes, kind of like the cut scenes. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yep.
You know, it was just good. Like, I don't say Ministry. I'm not a big Ministry guy, but it was just very industrial, heavy, distorted guitars, and it kind of just fit the mood. You know, I'm like, what? It's better than like, I don't know if that was written specifically for the movie but it was done well. It tied it together well, I thought. Especially,
it was British.
It was British, yeah. So it brought together the shitty filming. No, jerks. You guys are film snobs. There was one other meme that I thought was kind of funny. It was McGrady from The Thing, and it said, "There's only one way to test for coronavirus." He's got the little petri dish with like the rod or whatever he's got to stick in it from The Thing. But anyway, so.
I like it.
So long story short, Jim puts up a fight. They bring Jim in that.
We should have done the thing.
Is this AOL? Did someone just come online? Did I just hear a door creak? Wow,
that probably going outside to smoke.
Who, me?
That took me way back.
Talking to me about me?
You talking to me?
Yeah, he's outside.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing outside now?
I'm not outside. I went to go take a leak. I was just trying not to do it on the air like Doug. Don't yell at me.
So now you're outside?
I'm not outside.
I just wanted to drown out. I just wanted to drown out Kevin's synopsis. What might be?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Mr. Rogers who liked to fart when, like, there was a lot of people in the room. That's me with pee.
Yeah, so-
I just pee when someone's talking about something really important.
I'm gonna be.
Wait, is that true?
What, Kevo?
Mr. Rogers, is that true?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he thought farts were hilarious. He was the most like wholesome guy probably ever. Maybe a Diller. I don't know. I hope to think not.
Nah, man.
He did like.
Watch his doc. His
he
doc
did like
is pretty good.
Oh no, I saw the movie. Yeah, I was in tears, and I think there was a part with they mentioned like a mooning scene and some farts, but it's more so like it was kind of off the record kind of thing.
Oh.
I hang out with some people that
Yeah.
know people. Anyway,
Who, Corey?
Marco, you wanted to say something about going outside? You were going to defend your honor.
Oh, I was just peeing. I told you I was peeing. I didn't go outside.
Oh, you just. Oh, okay.
I tried to be as quiet as possible, but you guys noticed I was gone.
Doug, just on the air, Nick Caruso said you are fake. You are fake metal, fake vegan.
Big Doug.
Wow. I'm just hashtag fake Doug all around.
Big Doug.
Oh, hey, we got somebody calling in. Hold on a second here. How's it going? You're on the podcast.
Hello. Was that a Russian?
No, I don't know. Enrique. Oh, all right. Hey, there you are. What's going on, man? How you doing? You surviving out there? You staying healthy?
All right.
I don't hear nothing.
Well, I'll continue. No, his call cut out, but then he said hi, so he doesn't speak English.
All right.
Oh, that's okay. Neither do we. We don't speak English very well either. So you're not the only one, my friend.
Yeah. Where are you from? If you can hear me.
I can't hear nothing.
At least one of us can. Oh, Brazil. Marco. He's from Brazil. That's basically Portugal, language-wise.
Yeah, for some reason I can't hear him at all.
No, he's just talk to him through. Can you talk to him through text?
Oh, he's texting?
Yeah, his call cut out, so now he's
Oh, I see it, yeah.
he's just typing. All right.
That's cool.
Why don't you chat to him if you want? Just say hello, see what's going on. He speaks Portuguese. He's in Portugal. He speaks Portuguese.
All right, I don't know how to write in Portuguese, so I can't. I'm sorry.
What? Ask him a question. It's like think of it as like a Ouija board. Just ask him a question, see if he.
I don't want to.
Benedeca, Shasheka. Those are the only. Are those dirty words? I know one's a frog and one's of a JJ. Uh-oh.
There you go. I asked him if he's okay, in a good way.
He just said he can't speak. How is he supposed to read? Vintage Burn Podcast.
He probably knows basics. So, yeah, I mean, look. We have people buying out toilet paper in masses. I'm not so certain the American people know what they're fucking doing right now. Okay, so.
Oh no! Oh yeah, we have no clue. Oh, you're the host too. Oh, look at you, fucking snotty pants. All right, so while you guys are chatting with him, I'm going to continue. Just to get through this, I got a page and a half here.
I understand.
So the dissident sergeant is shot. They bring him out kind of out in the way back where they keep all the bodies. The sergeant's shot. Jim makes a scuffle. No, two of the guys start fighting because one didn't want the other one to get shot. So Jim plays dead, and he's basically laying in a pile of like corpses. They turn away, and he basically hops over the fence. He loses his shirt. Of course, because that's where all his power is when he's shirtless. Back at the compound, they try to force Selena and Hannah to kind of dress up. They're kind of dressing them up to kind of, I guess he's been men after a month. That seems a bit excessive to be that pent up after a month. But I mean, I guess if there's no hope of a future, I mean, I'm not condoning it in any way, shape, or form. But it's just the weird fucked up mentality that they have.
Well,
so they're dressing him.
They're obviously not good people in general. They're assholes. again, another thing.
That's true,
It
too.
reminds me of like, say, I could like Walking Dead thing, like Terminus. I don't know if you saw that season where that was their salvation, head towards Terminus, so they're walking on the tracks like the whole season, and then when they get there, the people just want to eat them.
Yeah, so they're kind of drawing him in for the wrong
Correct.
reasons. You know, when he does say like, "Oh, this isn't what you expected, but don't worry," and then he reassures him when he first comes in, then all of a sudden, you're right, they're scumbags, and their true colors start to show. So they kind of dress them up, and Selena realizes like, "Hey, we're not really going to be able to get out of this. Our only chance is to kind of deal with it for now and, form another plan." So she she does give Hannah.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
Enrique said you talk too fast.
Marco, how do you say sorry in Portuguese? Lo siento, or is that
Spanish?
I'll tell him. I'm using Google Translate. It's
there
awesome.
you go. Do your thing.
All right, you like all these dudes on like the on the broadcast. You can do like the you can sign everything, but like through.
But Doug, like what the whole thing is, it's kind of showing the human condition, how humans can be evil. Like, and the back to the dinner scene just for a second, like when the chubby guy's talking about conspiracies and whatever, or going back to normal, and he says something about like, we've only been on the Earth in the Earth's history, we've only been here for a blink of an eye, right? And then the guy's like,
Yep.
What's normal to me is people were killing each other 28 days ago, or whatever, 28 weeks ago, then 28 months ago. And he's like, it's all the same. And it's just showing like he's got an evil streak to him. In my opinion, right there is where you could see the guy's not quite right. You know what I mean? Are you peeing again?
Well, he was the one. No, why? Why'd you say that?
I don't know.
Is it because I'm peeing? Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I did get home and chug like 3 beers just because it's been one of those days. But you're right, Marco. And it's funny. He was the one you seemed like he's like an asshole or a crazy person. But like towards the end, like him and Jim are locked up, and he's saying like it's a conspiracy theory, and it's only us. They kept us here in this island, and everywhere else is living on like normal days, and we're living here like animals. And you hate to believe them, but I don't want to jump to the end, but like once we get to the end, you might be like, wow, this guy's not completely off his rocker, So, but you're right. It's kind of showing the human condition, and even in the worst of times, it can bring out the even worse in people. Correct. Even more, because also it's desperation.
Which is typically the tale in most zombie / I guess infected films. I mean, it's just kind of the same. It's the same old hat.
Yes. Bye.
Okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, and that's why you could just tell they're evil. But continue, sir.
Nope, you're right. So Selena drugs up Hannah, and she must give her more Valium or something. And Hannah's like, Hannah's not dumb. She's young, but she's not dumb. And she's like, are you trying to like kill me, so I don't have to endure this? She's like, no, I'm just trying to like numb you. So she's basically stoned like the second half of the movie.
Yeah,
like,
she says that
basically from here.
Yeah, she says she's making her not care.
Making her not care, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So then all of a sudden, like a siren goes off. We find out Jim's luring the guys out with the siren. He's out there spinning the thing. So he brings them out. He basically starts kind of picking them off as they come out. He breaks into the compound. He kind of goes over the wall. He shoots the chain of Mila, the captive they have, the Rager captive. Mila wreaks havoc in the house. Jim breaks in at the same time, starts kicking ass, gouges gouges a dude's eyes out. Selena goes to kill him, thinking that he's got the rage. I mean, can you blame her? He just gouged the dude's eyes out with his thumbs, but
yeah, and they're deep in too. They're not just like they're in, like they're like up to like the knuckle in.
Oh yeah. He does have the rage, but not the rage. But but we find out it's
a situation, sure.
Yeah, so we find out that he doesn't have the rage, that he's just a stud. It's not his fault, See those abs? Shit. So then there's kind of, I don't want to say a little bit of comedy, but so there's this very passionate, bloody kissing scene, and Hannah comes over, stoned as shit, and I think breaks a bottle over his head, and he's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you stoned?" And Selena's like, "Well, I'll explain." And she's like, I thought she had the rage, which, you know, you come in and this person just literally gouging dude's eyes out. You're going to think that, you know? So then they all go to escape. The commander dude, like the main commander dude, is sitting in the car when they go to escape. And he's like, haha, you know, you can't escape, you know? So Jim promptly shoots him. Hannah hops in the driver's seat, takes off with him, and kind of backs up. Mila jumps through the back window, grabs him, and kind of runs off with him. So the car is basically free to go. They all hop in. They crash through a great gate, and then all of a sudden it kind of turns black. You don't know if they're dead, alive, if they survived, what happened. Now, this kind of confused me. It said 28 days later, ... again.
Mm-hmm.
So does this mean we're like 56 days in now? Is this 56 days later?
That's what I believe it is.
Or is this just... Okay, so this is like 28... This is the second cycle, essentially.
Yeah, it's basically a month later, yeah.
A month later, okay. Or 56 days, Marco. Just doing the math here.
A month later than the day it ended, or whatever. The day that they escaped the military compound. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's just... I'm just curious what's so symbolic about the 28 days. Isn't that... no,
I don't know if there's any symbolism or any connection. I just think that's like when they decided, what sounds good? I think 28 Days Later sounds like a good movie title. I don't know. I don't know if there's any symbolism. I never really thought about it, but I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Yeah, because I know, you know, like 28 Days of Night, the Stephen King movie, like 28 kind of seems to be a cycle, it seems. You know what? I'll do some research, which I won't, and I'll post something, which I won't. So I'm just being honest here.
Okay.
So then 56 days later, you have Jim kind of waking up, and, you know, you don't know what situation he's waking up to. So it's like we know as much as he does, it seems. And he walks in, and Selena's like sewing behind a sewing machine, and then they go outside, and you realize they're in this beautiful village, and they're making a huge help sign out of bed sheets, and they hear a passing plane, and they go out, and it's very... So, you know, and then you start to think maybe the dissident was right about the government all along, maybe trying to quarantine them, hide them, because there's, you know, rescue efforts now. If it was global and it was completely taken over, there wouldn't be, you know, F-117s flying over, seeing if there's survivors and stuff. So it's kind of like a little bit
RAF, baby. The RAF.
Is that a Biggie Smalls reference?
It's the Royal Air Force, man. That's the British. The RAF. That's World War II knowledge right there, baby.
Yeah, no, Marco is the World War II buff. I thought I was good, and then Marco but
really, is that your jam?
Oh, World War II?
Yeah,
Marco loves World War II. You shitting me? Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do. You know what, Marco? Maybe I'll for my next pick. Maybe I'll try to do like
Overlord.
Yeah, you know what I was gonna say, like Dead Snow. Let's do Overlord, Marco. That is my pick for what is it, May?
Yeah, May.
Let's do Overlord.
Glorious Bastards, Bear Jew.
Bear Jew.
You can do that, but that's not accurate in any way. Like Overlord has, it's not really accurate either, but at least has some of the parts right. But anyway, we can talk about it when we do it.
It could be. We don't know. They did a lot of fucked up shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you know what? Good call. I like that.
All right, we'll do it.
So anyway, the fucking end. Happy.
Are we dead yet? Are we all dead yet? What's going on here?
I'm trying to like do like the Jerry Springer final thought thing here, but so happy ending, the fucking end. Everyone's in love. They're gonna adopt the kid. I'm guessing. I'm just using my imagination here. They're gonna have a kid of their own. They're gonna have their own.
All right. How would you compare this to our current virus? Like, reality versus the fantasy of a movie, like a horror movie.
I would say the thing about this new virus we got out, we don't know a ton about it, even though it's not the first time it's come about. If you look at the back of like all these Lysol and disinfectant wipes, you see right there like coronavirus, MERS, Komodo virus, like, so it's one of those things that it's not completely unheard of, but it's just we're not prepared for it in such a mass scale, and it's always changing and shifting. So
yeah, the strains
as far as that goes,
too.
now allegedly there's 2 strains and this and that. But But as far as being like caught off guard and like, whoa, what do we do? We have, 17 million swine flu H1N1 vaccines on hand, and people stopped getting those years ago. People were getting, for a while, they were getting the regular flu vaccine and then the H1N1, the swine flu, and now, so we might see next few years like, all right, well, I better get the, COVID-19 and the regular swine flu. Regular flu.
Slower than like in the movies. All of these movies, it's like instantaneous.
Do you guys know what COVID-19 even means?
No.
I
know 19 is the year, I'm guessing. Coronavirus 19?
Yeah, I mean, the rest of it's pretty silly, but so co is corona, which is a family of virus, and V means virus, and that's it. And D is disease.
Yeah, this is not technically the coronavirus. Everyone's like, I think I got the corona. I got the corona. The coronavirus is like a million coronaviruses. This is just a different strain, a different variation of a different coronavirus.
Now, Lolo, I saw someone earlier post that someone in a city nearby, I forget even who it was, they were like, someone's got the corona 19 or the coronavirus 19. It was like, I'm like, now you're just taking all these things and just slapping them together. It's like kind of redundant, I guess, but it just seemed weird.
COVID-19 is like the nickname, I guess.
I did just see a post about 20 minutes ago that said that the city of Waltham is about to go into having all schools shut down.
Oh yeah, yep. I think for tomorrow definitely, and then probably, I know a lot of schools are doing the next 2 weeks. I know Everett's doing the next 30 days.
Yeah. Everett's the 30-day. North Reading, Peabody around here is tomorrow, and that's it. They're going to reopen. They're going to go clean the shit out of it.
Look, we're going to start shutting down schools and colleges. One of two things is going to happen. It's going to start to look like fucking Children of the Corn around the United States, or it's going to end up being like, a giant fucking like Thanksgiving frat party at every bar, because all the colleges will be shut down, all the kids will be home. It'll be a fucking children of the bar,
I did see a children of the coronavirus meme. It was like the cover, Children of the Corn cover, and they all have like masks with sliced and shit.
Yeah, I mean they're all they're all immune, right? So the kids are like, fuck the adults. They're gonna infect all the adults. The kids are gonna take over the world, and all the Gen Z or whatever generation is right now, sucking off their parents in college. They're all going to be at the bar right now, spending their parents' money, because everybody will be dead.
Yeah, and I'm also reading here. Pornhub is doing the Lord's work again.
Marco's
they're giving
cut
free
off
premium access to all events during the quarantine.
Marco, you turned into a robot for a second there. Can you repeat that for us,
sorry,
please?
did I? Yeah, so Pornhub is doing the Lord's work. They're giving everybody in Italy quarantined the free premium access, which is awesome.
Just as a concerned listener, Marco,
go ahead.
What does that entail?
I don't know. That's just everything they have.
Full-length videos? Like, I've never paid for
everything. Yeah, all the HD stuff. You don't got to pay for any of it. And I have a VPN, so I can actually just set my VPN to Italy and get free Pornhub for a while.
You will get a list of movies shortly.
But anyway,
I basically want
I thought that was a funny.
I want the porn version of Tombstone, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, you want that one? You want the?
It's just like it's like the Earp sisters instead of the Earp brothers, and they just bang. Doc Holliday's in there too.
You want the brothers? Don't lie.
I would not look away.
Like robots. I think you got to turn up here.
Please sit on my face.
Sit on my face.
All right. Well, I think we're done. Everybody stay safe. Again, I'm going to drop some links once we upload the podcast. I'll drop the Joe Rogan link with the the guy who's the almighty medical detective who's worked at the CDC. He's worked with 6 presidencies. We'll actually put in the CDC website for those of you who are actually not concerned about this. You might want to just kind of get your facts straight, look at the information, stop watching the news about the virus. This isn't going to turn into 28 days later. It's definitely serious, but go about your life, spend your money, or else the fucking economy is going to dry up if you don't. Like all of the sports, out there. And do the best you can,
Yeah, in all seriousness, I know we've been joking, but this is serious, and we want people to take care of themselves. And we obviously send our best to a lot of the countries that are out there that are suffering and have loved ones that are going through something very big. So we send our love out there.
Yeah, we joke, but at the same time, we know how serious it is.
We're very, very dire times, but we're just trying to, give everyone a laugh. Sometimes you just need a little comic relief in times like this,
Statistically, you never know which one of the three of us are going to die. I mean, this could be it. This could be the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah, we're not that lucky.
Yeah, the amount that Doug pisses, I'm betting on him. But real quick, I have to. Somebody pulled up the mic. I have to ask Doug. Did you notice that there was a scene after the credits in this movie?
No, I think I fell asleep before that twice.
It's Jim screaming.
What did I miss?
I stopped paying attention, but I forget. It's just Jim screaming, and it looks like he's captured again by another army or whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Did we watch the end of that?
Shit, yeah, I'm like, well, it's not a Disney movie. It's not like Pirates of the Caribbean or a Marvel movie. Chances are there's nothing at the very, very, very end. I remember
there is
one of my exes back in the day. It was like a movie she's seen 100 times, but like say we rented it from a different place or it was a different VHS or DVD. Even like a movie she's seen 100 times, she'd have to watch the end, and just in case they added that one little cut scene. So now I forbid I see the credits come on, bam, done.
I know what happens to him. He gets caught by another military, but they're actually from the past, and they bring him back to the 1800s where he becomes the leader of the Peaky Blinders. That's exactly how it ends. So on that note, thank you for joining Vintage Burn.
Love y'all.
Yeah, love yous. This is Kev.
Marco.
I thought the movie was pretty good, but
and Doug.
Fucking
Marco.
All right, hey, well, I'll see you guys soon. I don't know. We got to figure out when we're going to meet up. Maybe when we're not infectious or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll let the burn scale decide.
Hey, do we have one last quick thing? Do we have another music? Did we drop the music? Our last music portion?
We did
already.
Yeah, it's dropped.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, everything's up.
I'm trying to. I could go back, and I don't want to exit out because Russians and me trying to get back on is always a struggle.
Yeah, way to listen, Doug, to your own podcast.
Yeah, I'm the fucking captain of the struggle bus. All right, I'm behind. I
already listened to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, good night, guys. I'm signing out. Have a good one. This is Marco.
Good night. Peace out.
See ya.
All right, word to your mothers. Be safe. Wipe your bums and not touch your eyes. Peace.
Thank you.